The following segments are pre-recorded and sponsored by Longworth Productions.
Law enforcement training on Triad Today. Hello everyone, I'm Jim Longworth and welcome to another edition of Triad Today, coming to you once again from the beautiful Senior Botanical Garden in Kernersville. We'll tell you more about them later on, and later on is when the roundtable shows up. We'll get into all sorts of controversial topics, so stay tuned for that. Where we want to start though is two friends of mine talking about regionalism and cooperation and all that good stuff. On my right, Matthew Dole, she's Executive Director of the Piedmont Triad Regional Council, we affectionately refer to as PTRC, and Chantel Robinson, I'm still going to call her the new County Manager for Forsyth County. Welcome. Good to see both of you.
Thank you, Jim.
Thanks for having me.
Matthew, what's the mission of PTRC? Remind us about that, and more importantly, how do you achieve the objectives within that mission?
Yeah, so PTRC works to improve the lives of citizens across the 12-county region in key areas like workforce, housing, programs for the elderly, et cetera. And we really do that in cooperation with our 75 member local governments, helping them with their vision for their own communities, hopefully by delivering services that way.
Right. Chantel, you've been around, even though you're young, it seems like you've been around forever. You know, when Dudley Watts was the manager, you were working in human resources. You've worked in and around nonprofit, for-profit. Now, how do you bring all that to bear to impact on the job you're doing now? How does that shape your role as a county manager?
Yeah, I've been blessed with so many opportunities in my career. I have 20 plus years of experience in business management, human resources management, operations, and public sector, nonprofit, for-profit. And I think just the diversity of the sectors that I've worked in and the diversity of people and the challenges that have come across the way have really helped me get acclimated in the role that I'm in today.
Well, absolutely. And, Matthew and I have talked on camera and off a lot about regionalism, how, all these different counties and people working together. I know this is maybe a loaded question or something, but how are you as a county manager going to try to foster regionalism in your position? Yeah,
so we already work really closely with Regional Council and Matthew and his team. And so I feel very strongly that we need to continue doing that collaboration. We also work really well with other towns and municipalities, as well as other counties. I don't think that we should worry about kind of the county line, that we all serve a lot of the same residents. And so the more that we cooperate with each other and collaborate with one another, it helps us to improve the lives of all of our residents.
Now, you have some things going on to make sure you're sort of able to communicate and connect with people in the county. Tell me about it.
So I have been doing community listening sessions since I started in my role in July. I've been going to every library. Forsyth County has 10 libraries. So far, I have done 9 sessions of 10. Tonight is my last community listening session, but I don't want it to be the last. And so my team and I will figure out kind of what regular intervals we will have. But it's important for me to listen to the community to figure out what their needs are. While I've been around for a long time, I don't want to make any assumptions. And so I want to hear from them what priorities they think the county should be focused on.
Yeah, because people can't always get to a county board of commissioners meeting, even though they say, well, come on over, you can speak if we have time. But people can't always do that because of their schedules. But then you're going out and doing these listening things, and it gives them a chance to have some input. And you're getting good input, right?
I'm getting very good impact. We're holding them in the evening times, and so it's after individuals are off of work if they choose to come. It's been very, very constructive, very welcoming, very supportive, and so I have really enjoyed getting to engage with the community in a different kind of way, and look forward to continuing to do that in the future.
As we wrap up, Matthew, I know you're looking forward, even though the two of you have known each other and worked together because of her role as a deputy manager, but you're really looking forward to being able to share data and to do things and work together throughout the region with it, right?
Yeah, Dudley was great. We love Dudley, and he's off riding bikes and doing some fun stuff now. We're so excited about having Chantel, and we're just really thrilled to have her join us today and talk a little bit about her vision, because it's going to be a vision that radiates out into the region. Forsyth County is such a large member of the region.
That's right. And Dudley, if you're listening, Matthew and I are glad you're gone. No, we didn't say that. You can go to co.forsyth.nc.us for more information about what's going on in the county. So that stands for county, I guess. co.forsyth.nc.us. Now, please visit the website for PTRC, and it's very simple. Go to ptrc.org. ptrc.org. Thank you, my friends, for doing this. I appreciate all you're doing for the area.
Thanks for
Thank you,
having me.
Jim.
All right. We'll be right back after this.
The world's brightest are Fulbrights, Goldwaters, McNairs, and Spartans. Prestigious doesn't have to be expensive.
And we know you will make a difference wherever you go.
UNCG. Find your way here.
Here's a sad fact. In the last presidential election, over 81 million people didn't even bother to show up and vote. So it's important to register. Right, Key?
Absolutely, but one of the most important part of it is education. Education is key to this election. Educating you on the policies that the candidates are talking about. Educating you on the candidates and issues, so please get educated.
This is brought to you by Ground Game Innovations. Back now on Triad Today, and folks tell me, when they email me sometimes, see me on the street, that they like to find out things about our guests. So we're going to do that with a noted surgeon in our area. And Dr. Carl Buchholz is a general surgeon with Northern General Surgery in Mount Airy and part of the Northern Regional Hospital family. And we're so glad you could come down and visit with us.
Thank you very much for having me.
So let's probe into your background. Tell us, where you were born, where you grew up, where you went to school.
Absolutely. I was born in Waukesha, Wisconsin, but I spent the first 10 years of my life in Seattle, lived another decade in Phoenix, Arizona, and then I came out to the East Coast to start medical school in Charlottesville.
Right. So you moved around a lot.
Yeah.
And you went to both UVA and Arizona. Did I get that right?
That's right, undergraduate Arizona, med
Okay.
school UVA.
Well, I have a nephew who's one of the baseball coaches at Arizona.
Oh, yeah?
And so I'm compelled to ask you, if UVA and Arizona play each other in baseball or something, what are you going to do?
Bear down all the way, Arizona.
Okay, all right. Now, I'll be sure to send a copy of the show to the folks at UVA. Who or what led you to a career in medicine? Was it a person or teacher or what?
My mom's an oncology nurse, still is actually in Phoenix. And so she was a big influence on me when I was growing up. She was one of the ones who encouraged me to go into medicine. And I always thought I was going to be a trauma surgeon. I figured I would be in a major metropolitan area, all the way up until my general surgery training and residency. And then it was coming out to some of the smaller hospitals and falling in love with those people and places that I knew general surgery in a rural setting is what I was going to want to do for the rest of my life.
Absolutely, because you guys draw from Northern Regional Hospital and the surrounding practices like yours. You guys draw from all over the area, including up in Virginia.
We do.
You've got people coming down from Virginia and that too. Now, as you said, you've been all over the country. Mm-hmm. You've gone to school in different parts of the country. I guess what I'd like to ask you is, what attracted you to the Mount Airy area to Northern Regional?
Yeah. Well, like I said, I wanted to do rural general surgery. And here I was excited to have the opportunity to join a really strong established surgical practice. And I have the privilege of having two experienced partners, Dr. Corbin and Dr. Bond, who already have been working and practicing in the region, know it well, and who I can lean on and trust as a couple of mentors as I'm getting started in my career.
Yeah. Well, how would you describe your approach to patient care?
I think the most important thing, the cornerstone of good patient care is listening first. People's bodies don't usually read the textbook, and their problems don't fit into a neat little box, but the more you listen to them, the more you hear what they have to say, the better your chances of coming up with the solution that's going to be the best fit for them, that's going to help them the most.
What types of surgery do you perform?
The joke about general surgery is we operate on the skin and its contents.
Yeah.
But if I
thought it was meant if you just operate on generals. I thought it was a military thing or something.
Gallbladders, colon surgery, a lot of cancers, breast cancer, colon cancer, small bowel cancer.
Right.
Problems that you have after abdominal surgery, small bowel blockages, and everything in between. Ports, vascular access, pilonidal disease. There's a lot of stuff that we take care of.
What's good about your approach, the way you were describing it is, we're going to sit down with me, and you're not immediately going to say, well, we're going to rush into surgery right now. I mean, you've got some give and take there, and,
That's right.
and really communicating is important. You're almost like a counselor too, right?
That's true. It's as important to know when not to operate as it is to know when to operate.
Right. Now, in the few hours that I'm sure you have to relax, because I know you're busy, what do you like to do for fun?
I guess you could say I'm an old soul with a modern twist. So I moved here with my wife Sarah 5 years, and our daughter Leora just turned 1. And we like to, garden, can, split heat with wood, hunting, press and cider, all that stuff. But if I find the time, I like to dabble in some tech, a little bit of programming, build computers, all that stuff in my free time. If I get
You're
the
crossing
chance.
over from the old world into the tech world.
That's right, just a dabble of each.
Well, that's great. Now, I know we're going to get you back next month, and we're going to talk about a specific type of condition that you help people with, and we'll do that. But for now, I'm just glad you had a chance to come in and I could learn some stuff about you. I appreciate what you're doing.
Well, thank you very much.
Up on screen, you can call 336-789-9176. That goes directly to Northern General Surgery, or you can go to the general website for the hospital, choosenorthern.org. All right, we'll be right back after this. Hi, I'm Jim Longworth, reminding you that Triad Today is now streaming on WFMY Plus, available free on Roku and Amazon Fire TV. Back now on Triad Today, and we're going to visit for a few minutes with one of the good folks. A friend of ours, been on the show before, Maya J. Walker. She's manager of high school programs for Shift Ed. And we have Wendy on the program a little later on, your president and CEO, so we're glad to have you here. Tell me a little about, let's just remind folks about what the mission of Shift Ed is.
The mission of Shift Ed is to boldly accelerate student potential.
Now, students in Guilford County are gearing up for another school year. They're, a lot of them are going in. And what is your role in getting them ready to succeed both now and in the future?
I collaborate significantly with our counselors and community partners to share all of the resources that Shift Ed can offer high school students throughout their journey.
Well, give me some examples of the type of resources in case somebody's watching, they're just curious, what is it is Maya J actually going to do and her team? What kind of resources are we talking about?
Our resources support career exploration and college attainment through scholarships, financial aid counseling, in-person and virtual workshops, standardized test prep, and workforce planning.
So a lot of these scholarships and things are available. I know you guys at Shift Ed do scholarships too, and then there are other types of funding out there, and sometimes people can get confused about, well, if I get one, am I eligible for another? And you can help with stuff like that too, right?
Yes, absolutely. So while we do have the Shift Ed scholarship, we know we are not the only scholarship, so we provide a public scholarship list on our website that students can use to identify other scholarship opportunities.
Right. Do you have any networking events that might be coming up for this year? Anything you want to tell me about?
Yes, so throughout the entire semester and year, I will be at individual high schools supporting post-secondary planning events and FAFSA initiatives. On September 30th, our families can join us at the Greensboro Coliseum for the Cacro College Fair, where we'll have hundreds of college representatives there.
Well, about how many students do you serve? I mean, maybe you can't give an exact number, but ballpark number. About how many students do you serve, and how do you really help them at these network events?
Yes, so this past academic year, we were able to serve 8,000 students with our high school programming events. That's largely due to our collaborations in the community and boldly and creatively supporting students.
Right. Now, the thing I wanted to ask you about too is that you're in a role where you meet with kids on a regular basis and you network with them. So I want to ask you about gratification that you get from this. Sort of what personally inside of you, what do you really get from working with these kids?
Yes, so working with students aligns with my passion. So I had a college advisor in high school, and my college advisor really helped me with my post-secondary opportunities, applying to college, getting to college. So being able to do this work and support students at a larger scale with Shift Ed really helps me give back to the community and pour into them what was poured into me.
And how long have you been working with students?
I've been working with students since I graduated college, so going on 4 years now.
4 years. Yes. Well, let me put you on the spot. We didn't rehearse this or anything, but What about feedback? I mean, after 4 years, do you get any kind of feedback from the students or the parents or anything like that? What do you get?
Yes, so I'm always looking for opportunities to learn and grow. Initially, I started post-pandemic and even during the pandemic, so learning how to interact with students and families and meet them where they are, that looks different year to year, month to month. So definitely being open to always learning and growing for them.
Right. Now, how can people get more information about what you're doing, about the events, about the programs, scholarships, the whole thing?
Yes, so I encourage families to look into our post-secondary consultations that can be found through our Shift Ed website. Also want to encourage students to follow us on our social media. Instagram is at Shift Ed Scholars. On Facebook and LinkedIn is Shift_Ed.
Yeah, I just want to make sure what we will put up on screen though is Shift Ed, and this time it's a dash on the website, shifted.org. So we hope you will check that out and get all sorts of information. Maya J., thanks for doing this.
Thank you for having me today.
All right. We'll be right back after this.
North Carolina's economy is growing, bringing new businesses and opportunities. The need for electricity is growing too. At Duke Energy, we're meeting the challenge, providing even more electricity that's cleaner, reliable, and that stays affordable. We're getting out of coal and reinvesting in our communities with a diverse, balanced mix of energy sources and making targeted upgrades to the grid so that North Carolina can thrive in a smarter energy future.
Back now on Triad Today, always glad when we can visit with some of the good folks from Alamance Community College, and we have now with us a good friend, Chris Verdick. He's Director of Emergency Services Training and Basic Law Enforcement Training at Alamance Community College. Good to see you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for having me.
Let's remind folks what you mean by Basic Law Enforcement Training. Tell me, what is that program all about?
So in North Carolina, every person that wants to become a police officer has to attend a Basic Law Enforcement Training program. And then at the end of that, there's a comprehensive state exam, and they pass the state exam, then they can be certified as a law enforcement officer in North Carolina.
Now, are they ready to roll and go into a law enforcement job once they come away from your training? Tell me how that works.
Yes, so they'll be hired by an agency, and then they'll turn in their paperwork to the state to be certified, and then they'll start their career with whatever agency they choose.
Let me give you a chance to brag about your program for just a second, because I've heard a lot of good things about it even before you came here on today's show. What gives you guys such a good reputation? Because you seem to be very highly ranked among these kinds of law enforcement training colleges. How does that happen?
So, of course, I attribute our success to my staff and to our instructors, right? We've got instructors that are current and former law enforcement that come in every day and teach these kids. I say kids, these students.
Everybody's a kid to me.
Right. So they come in and they teach these students, and they're given the best instruction. Of course, our former cadets are our best recruiters, so they go out and let them know what kind of a atmosphere we have.
And that must be the reason you get such, I think you were telling me in an email, you have like record numbers of enrollment, right?
Right, yeah. Last fall we had 54 students, which is huge for this type of program. Currently we have 41, so we've got high numbers.
Now, do I have to live in Alamance County to go to something and get training?
No, we've got folks coming from all over the place. So you don't have to live in Alamance.
All right. Now, there's you also told me in an email that you have this new training facility that's currently under construction. Tell me about that.
So yeah, it's going to be a huge facility that's got a 15,000 square foot classroom building. And it's going to have a 14,000-foot, 50-yard rifle-rated indoor firing range that a lot of agencies will be able to take advantage of, along with the basic law enforcement training.
How's that going to benefit students in other ways?
Well, they'll be able to do their continuing education there. For the students in basic law enforcement training, currently we have to travel to different sites to do different tasks.
Right.
So this way we'll be able to keep everything on site. There won't be any more traveling.
Everything consolidated.
Right.
Well, I guess I'm also curious, are you already, not trying to jump the gun, but are you already getting people emailing you or texting you say, hey, how soon is the training facility going to be open? Can I come and train there? Are you getting that kind of thing?
Yes, they're already trying to schedule time on the driving pad and the firing range and classrooms. And of course, I don't have an exact date when it's going to be ready, so I can't start scheduling that stuff
yet. I'm just curious, since it's the first time I've seen you in a long time. What sort of encouraged you? Because people should know you've been in law enforcement.
I have
right?
been.
So tell a little bit about that.
Yeah, I spent 30 years with the Burlington Police Department. I retired as the assistant chief in 2018, and then I started with Alamance Community College January of 2019.
So it gives you real credibility, I think, with these folks coming into training because they know you've been in the real world of doing that. Before we run out of time, I'm also curious, was there somebody who or what impacted you to want to be involved with law enforcement? Was there somebody in your family or a teacher somewhere or what?
No, really, my time in the military got my sense of service started. And as soon as I got out of the military, I knew this is what I wanted to do. So then it was just a matter of going through the steps like these cadets are doing now.
Right. And I'm so glad you did too. For more information on this, you can go to alamancecc.edu. Again, that's alamancecc.edu, where you can check out all sorts of things about the program that Chris and I were talking about, and look about other courses too. Oh, very quickly. I'm always curious when we sit down and talk about these things. What gratification do you get from your job right now? I know you've had long, career in law enforcement.
Yeah, so meeting these students when they first come into this job, and then they're continuously stopping by, talking to us about how their training helped them through different situations that they run into on the street.
Well,
and it's
great.
just huge. Yes.
I bet. Thanks for what you're doing, Chris.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
We'll be right back after this. Hi, I'm Jim Longworth, reminding you to catch my column Longworth at Large and Yes Weekly every week. It's available throughout the Triad, or you can go online, yesweekly.com. Back now on Triad Today, just about time for the roundtable, but a quick shout out to the good folks here at Senior Botanical Garden in Kernersville. Visit the garden and check out the website. You can rent the facility, come out here and stroll around. We usually stroll around in here, but I make them sit for the roundtable on my right, but always political left, Ogie Overman. And, of course, the President and CEO of Shift Ed, Wendy Protiti, is joining us, and Keith Granberry, founder of Helping Hands Consultants. All right, guys. Earlier this year, a former Parkland High School student was charged with 5 felonies, including 2 for assaulting teachers, 1 kidnapping. Now the Forsyth prosecutor is offering the man a plea deal by consolidating all 5 charges into one. It could result in no prison time. You okay with a plea deal, or is this a slap in the face to the teachers that were assaulted, Ogie?
No, I'm not. I think the kid, I don't care if he's 17 or 18, whatever. He needs to do a little time, honestly.
All right, Ms. Poteet.
He could still do a little time.
He could.
I just find it difficult for this police interaction to impact the rest of his life. But I also know that it's a slap in the face to the teachers. But why are we not addressing the trauma that caused this young man to be in this place? And why are we so disrespectful and have such disdain for educators? So it's nuanced.
Mr. Granberry.
I think there has to be rules and regulations, and there has to be things put in place so that if you do something like that, you'll understand the consequences. I don't want him to be destroyed for the rest of his life, but you cannot have conduct like that at school, period.
All right, last week, West Forsyth High School hired a man to be the girls' basketball coach. I emphasize the word man. He's a fine fellow. I'm sure he's a great coach. And he's capable. But here's the question. Shouldn't girls have a coach who's also a female role model?
No, not at all. Not at all. Look at Gino Aragama. He's done okay at Connecticut.
I know he's done okay.
So at Clemson, I did a story one time on a girl who was a man's basketball coach, a boys' team. It's common now.
Wendy?
I'd have to say Gina Ariema too. I think anybody can be a role model. I think it's antiquated to think that you have to have a role model that must be the same sex.
Same sex. Keith.
She actually called you antiquated, but absolutely, men are coaches in women basketball all over the country, but there should be women coaching in men basketball as well. I think it should go both ways because a good coach is a good coach.
Y'all are messing with my head today. The ACT college admissions exam is making some big changes. Among them, the science portion of the test will be optional. You guys okay with that? Oh.
No, I'm not. Why would you just eliminate science? I mean, that's an important thing to know.
We're lagging behind some of the other countries in math and science. Wendy, what do you think about eliminating science?
So I don't see it as elimination. I see it as kids being able to opt in to do the things and showcase what they're strongest at and what they're interested in. It also cuts down on test fatigue. This is a really long test. So for kids testing 3 hours, this option brings the testing time down to about 2 hours, I think.
Okay, I didn't know that. Keith?
I think you should shorten the test, but give opportunities in each of these areas. So there should be science, but the test should be shortened so that everyone will get a well-rounded example of who you are.
Okay, this fall, some 8 million young people will be eligible to vote for the first time. I have several questions at once. Will they vote? Will they have an impact on the presidential election? And will they be informed when they vote? Ogie.
I think they're going to have a big impact, Jim. I think kids are a lot of them are really engaged right now, and they're learning. You know, they're looking at both sides and making decisions. I'm encouraged.
Not just protesting over this war or that war, but they actually know what's going on. So, Wendy, 8 million new kids coming in can vote for the first time, will they?
I have a 19-year-old that's one of those 8 million. It'll be his first presidential election, and I'm watching him and his friends, and they seem to ask the right questions of both sides. So I think they will vote. I think they'll have impact. I think it's up to us to make sure that we are informing them and making sure that they understand the impact that their vote has.
Keith,
So
what about it?
I'm working in that field, and I see that.
Yeah, people may not know. We mentioned a couple of times, Keith is really working nationally, helping out with getting people registered and educating people about how to vote and this kind of thing, which is, we really commend you. All seriousness, we commend what you're doing. Yeah, all right, so we got 8 million kids that are going to
They're absolutely going to vote this time. They're energized. They seem to be really getting involved with the new changes in the candidates, and they really seem to really be engaged. And I think they're going to make a huge difference in this year's election all across the country.
All right, speaking of politics, real quickly, Attorney General Josh Stein has now pulled ahead of Lieutenant Governor Mark Robinson in the race to become our next governor. However, 15% of the voters are still undecided. Guys and gals, does Stein's lead hold up? What do you think, Ogie?
I think not only will it hold up, it will increase. Yeah, it's going to massacre that guy.
You think so?
Yes.
Because Robinson was ahead by a point or so, now he's down by 10.
Ancient history.
Wendy?
I hope it holds up. I'm going to, hope that it holds up because I want to be focused on keeping my skirt down.
Yeah, he's a contractor. Folks, we're not going to explain that whole thing. Keith?
Not only does he hold the lead, but it's also impacting the national election because some people just aren't going to vote.
All right. Finally, a new study reveals what kinds of gifts teachers really like to receive from their students, like felt tip pens, tote bags, things like that. Guys and gals, did you ever give one of your teachers a gift when you were in elementary school? And if so, what was it? Ogie?
No, I don't. I kind of wish I had, but I did in college, but not as a
You
kid.
gave a teacher a gift in college.
It's a long story.
Were you dating her?
No, it was a
All right.
long
When have
story.
you ever given a gift?
Legit.
I think
Totally
I
legit.
was the gift, but I think the gift we should focus on is paying our teachers. That's the
Paying?
gift we should all focus on.
That's a good point. Keith?
I did give them a gift. I gave them a gift for my presence, but I also gave them an apple. I gave them an apple, Jim. I did. My
There's
grandmother
something-
gave me an apple, and I gave it to them.
There's something wrong with you at your core. That's the,
Can't believe you said
the,
that, man.
That's all the time we have. Oh, except for this. We now know, this is a true story, that the Paris Olympic officials did not want the athletes having sex with each other, so each athlete only got this really narrow single bed. Hey, no problem, said the synchronized divers. Have to think about that for a minute.
Yeah.
For all of us here at Triad Today, I'm Jim Longworth. We'll see you next week.